Well then, hello and welcome back, if you heard us last week, to the HudMovies radio show. My name's Jake, I'm the social secretary. The president, Phil, will be joining us momentarily. But first off, I would just like to say thank you to the people who came yesterday to watch Infinity War with us. We watched it down in Osler Floor 3, Room 13. It was a very great time. Thank you to everyone that came. We'd just like to remind you that next week we will be showing Endgame, same time, same place. So 2 till 3, Osler. It starts at 2:30, aiming for a sort of 20 to 3 start. Down in floor 3 of Osler, room 13. It's the film studies room. So that is next week. So that would make it the 5th of February. The week after that, the 12th of February, we won't be showing a film because the SU and the LGBT Society are doing a film showing. The details of that are on Facebook pages for the SU and the LGBT Society. But the week after that, we are letting you decide from a choice of 4 what films we will be showing. So we're showing Goodfellas. We'll either be showing Goodfellas, 24-Hour Party People, Isle of Dogs, and what's it called? Survivor, I believe it's called. I'm just getting it up now. Searching, so Goodfellas, 24-Hour Party People, Searching, and Isle of Dogs. So Goodfellas, we're just going to give you a very brief overview of all of them. Goodfellas is a 1990 film directed by Martin Scorsese. Young Henry Hill with his friends Jimmy and Tommy begin the climb from being a petty criminal to a gangster on the mean streets of New York. Searching is a thriller from 2018, directed by Anish Chaganty, and it says David files a complaint in order to find his missing daughter Margot. However, a string of hidden truth unravels when he checks her laptop. Isle of Dogs is by Wes Anderson. It is a stop-motion animated science fiction comedy drama. The mayor of Megasaki orders all the dogs to be quarantined on an island after the outbreak of canine flu. A young boy arrives on the isle to search for his dog with the help of a few exiled mongrels. And 24-Hour Party People is a British film from 2002, directed by Michael Winterbottom. It's about 1976 Manchester, sort of punk rock era. It's got about the Sex Pistols, Manchester's punk groups, and musical revolution. So those are the 4 choices of movies that we could be showing to you. That will be on the 19th of February. If you would like a say on what movie you would like us to show, then we will have polls on our Facebook and our Twitter pages, both at HudMovies, for you to vote on. So, our first section is going to be unpopular movie opinions.
Oh dear.
So, I'm going to go first. This should be very fun. Joker is an overrated movie.
Okay, that's pretty interesting to hear, especially from someone who liked it.
No, I didn't actually.
No, from me.
Oh, from you, yeah. I was going to say, yeah, I hadn't watched it until recently. I tried watching it, and I didn't like it at all.
Why?
To me, it was sort of a blending of Taxi Driver and The King of Comedy.
I can see that, yeah.
If it only focused on Travis Bickle and forgot about the more interesting side characters.
Yeah.
You know?
I see what you mean there.
You know? And he is, Joker is a villain. I don't see why he needs a sympathetic backstory. You know, just some of the stuff he's done from the comics. He's abusive to Harley Quinn.
Yeah, that's true.
He murdered Jason Todd.
There is a theme though with a lot of,
paralysed and sexually assaults Barbara Gordon.
Oh, Christ.
Yeah. I mean, and personally, my favourite Joker stories are where we don't get a backstory for him.
Yeah.
You know, Heath Ledger, The Killing Joke. You get a tiny bit of of a backstory to The Killing Joke, but not really. You know, to the extent that the 2019 Joker movie did. You know, and they've tried to make him seem like just another complicated person in a morally grey world.
Yeah.
You know, where the lines of good and evil are blurred, and just, no, he's a psychopath. You know,
Yeah.
and do we really need a brutal movie about, you know, essentially a white terrorist figure using gun violence?
Yeah, that's how I felt when I came away from it. I was thinking, like, why? What is this trying to tell me? What?
Yeah.
Like, it was a little like, what's just happened?
I feel like, I mean, to me, the representation of people, you know, with mental illness, people who've been abused and people who've been adopted, it's horrific.
The thing is, as well, I think there's a big trend in anti-heroes.
Yeah, I think, but
a
there's
lot of people like them.
I know, but I wouldn't call the Joker an anti-hero. You know, anti-heroes...
hero.
Anti-heroes...
Bad people, if you know what I mean.
Anti-heroes are your Deadpool, you know, Harley Quinn...
I was talking more about the more of like a Walter White sort of thing.
Yeah.
Tony Soprano.
Yeah.
Bad people, but they want to give them a human side.
But they have a human side.
Yeah.
Joker doesn't. You know...
Yeah.
I also really felt, personally, the script was so on the nose. You know, it was just like, oh, he's crazy. Look, he's banging his head into a wall. You can, like, look, he's crazy. He's banging his head into a telephone box again. You know, and then just... At the moment I switched the movie off...
You switched it off?
I switched it off, is when Rock and Roll Part 2 started to play.
Yeah, that was not the best idea, considering the film was controversial to start with. Why would you put a Gary Glitter song in there?
Yes. There's a line of controversy that you can toe, and then there's you know, pole vaulting over it. You know, and you know, they just showed the Waynes being murdered for no reason. You know, I get that from a YouTube video. I didn't, obviously, because that's towards the end. But I mean, I don't know. To me, based on the sort of section of it that I saw, it didn't seem to make sense for them to have shown the Waynes being murdered.
In the 1989 film, didn't the Joker kill? I'm sure.
Yeah, in the 1989. Yeah. Like, but you know, that was they didn't try and humanise him in the 1989 one, and then just you know. If you want a movie from the viewpoint of the antagonist that sort of humanises them, and it's got a really thought-provoking message, go and watch Megamind.
But Megamind is very good.
Megamind is amazing, and, you know, definitely one for...
Not Joker.
Not Joker, yeah. So, I know I said this last week, that I think Joaquin Phoenix is going to win the Oscar. Yeah. I'm going to rescind that. I think somebody else should, because it's...
You think they should, but will they?
I think somebody else should, personally, but they probably won't. Mm-hmm. It was just a bit over the top as well, his performance.
I thought it was very good.
You know, he was no Heath Ledger.
No, not at all.
Or Mark Hamill.
Yeah, Mark Hamill's voice acting is just incredible. Yeah.
Right, so... Your unpopular opinion, Phil, is...
Well, I'm not as passionate about it as you, but I did finish the film.
You did finish the film.
Logan.
I
went to watch it at the cinema. It was good. It was good. But it was very boring too. And I don't really get the whole like thing about it's the best, like it's such a great it's hard to explain what I mean. Like,
what about it did you find boring? Like what?
It's very slow.
What didn't hook you? Was it very slow?
I went into it thinking it was going to be like, you know, and I appreciate it for doing it differently. Like some, like, you know, I know that many of the superhero films aren't slow.
No.
But the way they marketed it wasn't. I just went in and was like, oh, this is a bit weird. You know, it's hard to explain, and it was such a long time ago as well that I saw it.
It was such a long time.
Yeah, I was in a bad mood when I watched it.
You were in a bad... Maybe you should rewatch it, and then...
That might be.
And then see if you like it.
But I did finish it, and I was just
You did finish it?
I was underwhelmed, basically.
Well, underwhelmed.
It wasn't terrible.
No, you see, I really loved Logan.
Yeah, that's totally fair. I can see why it appeals to some people.
Because it did try and do something different.
Yeah.
You know, it was a westerny... road trippy. I mean, it sort of, to me, took a lot of influence from The Last of Us, the video game.
I've never actually played it, so,
and I loved that video game.
Yeah, I know there's people that do. Yeah,
I don't know.
It's a good film, a well-made film, but for me, I thought it was boring. I can just be irrational in sorts of things.
Yeah, no, that's perfectly fine. I'm sure.
When I've told people they're like, "Oh my god, how can you say that?"
Yeah, I know.
It's just my opinion.
I'm sure there are listeners. There are people listening now who are thinking both of us like you're both being so irrational.
Yeah.
You know, Joker and Logan are two of the best.
So I know some people that do
comic book movies.
But there's a lot of people. It's just that's why we have unpopular movie opinions. Everyone is going to have different viewpoints.
You know, and hopefully these are unpopular opinions because we don't want to do opinions that like everybody does. You look at other shows where they talk about movies and all they do is sort of praise them, or or they jump. I don't want to say jump on the bandwagon, but they sort of jump on a bandwagon of hate towards the movie.
I don't like that,
and I don't like that. No,
yeah. I feel like it also sometimes it can disrespect the people that have made the film.
Oh yeah,
a lot of work into it. You know, sometimes if it's not trying to be something it isn't, and it's just not. You know, it's like how people try and criticize. What's it called? I've completely forgotten.
It's not Captain Marvel you're trying to say, is it?
No,
because that has a lot of unwarranted criticism, in my opinion.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen it?
Yeah, it was a recent film. It was an adaptation of an anime.
Not that Ghost.
Yeah, it was Ghost in the Shell.
Ghost in the Shell.
I know there's a lot of controversy over it with Scarlett Johansson being cast in the role of but I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I know it's weird, but I just enjoyed it.
No, I think movies are subjective.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, as long as it's not I don't know how to define a bad movie, because there are people that do enjoy bad movies.
Terribly made.
Badly
produced.
Yeah.
Really bad acting.
Yeah, really bad acting.
Yeah.
I think that there are some films where they're so bad they're good.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
The Room, Lake Placid,
and may we say we were thinking of having a bad movie night every month.
Well, yeah, we are. So if you have any other suggestions of bad movies, and by bad movie, we're going to be pedantic here, so they have to have lower than 5.5 stars on IMDb.
Okay.
Because you can say it's a bad movie,
but is it like just a mediocre one,
or is it just that you think it's a bad movie? You know, going back to like Captain Marvel or Star Wars: The Last Jedi, films that did really well.
Okay.
Obviously, they both grossed over $1 billion.
It's like Avatar.
Avatar. Oh God, don't get me started on Avatar. The Blue People one, not the M. Night Shyamalan one, although they're both atrocious.
I went to the cinema to watch Last Airbender.
I didn't. I've only seen like
dramatic
reviews about it. So, next up, we're going to have the films recently watched segment that we did last time. So, Phil, what film have you recently watched?
So, last week I watched Under the Skin. It was a very interesting film. Like,
what's it about?
It was just really odd. It was such an odd film.
In what way do you mean?
I can't even explain. It was Scarlett Johansson playing an alien,
right?
Walking around Scotland, driving around Scotland, luring men into her van, and then dropping them into the liquid abyss.
That is very odd.
It's the fact that it's got Scarlett Johansson in it, which was very weird because you don't normally see her in sorts of films like that.
She's yeah. I was gonna say she's not really. It seems a bit of an indie film.
Yeah, it's weird that the film mentioned last week was Jojo Rabbit, and she's in it too.
Yeah, what are you gonna mention next week? I'm trying to think of a Scarlett Johansson film. Lost in Translation.
Christ almighty. No. So the weirdest thing about the film was that some of the scenes were actually real.
Alright.
Yeah, some of the scenes were real. There was bits where she was coming up to the men in a van, and she was talking to them, but it was filmed by hidden cameras, and some of the actors didn't know that it would be.
Didn't know it was Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't think she was very famous then. It was 2013, so I don't think she was much of a household name as she is
No, I mean, it
now.
was just after the Avengers movie.
It's true.
You never know.
Yeah, I guess some of them might have recognised her and then cut it out.
Yeah.
But some of the people that got in, they were just casually talking to her, and they didn't even know like that it was a film until after the scene finished.
That's a bit. That is odd.
Yeah.
That is definitely odd.
It was very Stanley Kubrick vibe to it. You know, it had very like atmospheric, eerie feel to it, and I really liked the score. The score was very good. It was done by someone called Mika Levi, and they did the score to Jackie, which is a film about Jackie F. Is it Jackie Kennedy?
Jackie Kennedy.
Jackie Kennedy, yeah. So Jackie F. Kennedy.
Jackie F. Kennedy,
yes. Yeah. If you like weird and different films, then you'll certainly like it. It didn't get a lot of good numbers at the box office because, I mean, who's going to go and watch a film about Scarlett Johansson playing an alien?
It did seem to sort of fly under the radar.
Yeah.
A bit, didn't it?
BBC did name it 61st on the list of the greatest films of the 21st century.
Well,
which is quite a big.
That's quite a bit, yeah.
Considering the amount of films that's been made, like so far.
There's probably like 61 films made a year that they could consider.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I thought it was very good. If you like stuff that's odd, very out of the ordinary, then you'll certainly like it. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So to go from an indie film to a recent massive blockbuster, I'm going to talk about Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. I saw this on midnight release, so opening night. A friend and I, we did the triple bill, so had The Force Awakens beforehand, then The Last Jedi, and then literally midnight release of The Rise of Skywalker. We did have a can of mojito right before.
Oh no!
Yeah, so we were slightly tipsy throughout.
Brian Abbott approach.
It wasn't a Marks and Spencer's one though, so that was depressing. So no, I know there's been a lot of hate on the internet for it. I don't quite know why. That might be
a popular opinion.
That might be an unpopular opinion for next week or a future show. But just very quickly, I really liked the movie.
Yeah.
You know, there were definite things where I was like, that could have been done differently, bits where it could have been done better, but then you can say that about any film, you know.
I think you've got to take it as the way it is.
As well as, you know, I'd say that there are stuff that could be done better in Jurassic Park, and I absolutely adore that movie. So, you know.
Again, it's just, you know...
It's just a movie.
Film.
It's a big blockbuster film.
They're going to win an Oscar, even though they should have an Oscar category for popular films.
They should.
I think.
Yeah, I think they should.
It'd reward any of the people.
But, you know, I mean, you've got J.J. Abrams directing. He's not an out there film director. You know, he's not a David Lynch. He's not a Todd Phillips.
No.
Now he's done Joker. Type of director, but he is a very competent, very safe pair of hands director. You know, I mean, The Force Awakens did nearly $2 billion, or did it grow over $2 billion?
I'm not entirely
around the
sure.
$2 billion mark.
It probably would have been.
You know,
there,
you know, he brought the Star Trek series back. You know,
I thought they were very good.
I thought they were very. I'd never seen Star Trek before the J.J. Abrams movies.
Yeah, that's.
And they've got me into Star Trek. I've recently started the Picard series.
What, the new one? Or
the new one
yeah.
with Huddersfield's Chancellor, Emeritus Chancellor Patrick Stewart, Sir Patrick Stewart. But you know, he's a very good director. You know, you've got a talented cast as well. You know, I mean, they managed to get what's he called, Billy D. Williams to come back.
Oh, yeah.
Love Billy D. Williams.
Lando, yeah.
And just managed to, you know, Ian McDiarmid as the Emperor Palpatine. You know,
I love that.
I was going to try and do an impression, but I don't want to embarrass myself on the radio. But no, you know, I mean, obviously, and then you've got John Williams' always amazing score.
He's a great all-time great.
He is one of the all-time greats.
Yeah.
So I really liked it. You know, there were bits that could have been done better. I'll do an unpopular opinion about The Rise of Skywalker and, well, sort of a character from the sequel trilogies next week. So if you want to hear me again, have another unpopular opinion, because it most definitely is. If you believe Twitter, an unpopular opinion, then do tune in. We'll let you know the time, because it might be slightly different next week.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure.
We're not entirely sure.
Yeah.
This is as sort of an ad hoc basis at the moment in time. So
The floor.
go with the flow. Yeah. Right. Score amazing.
Absolutely brilliant.
Absolutely brilliant. Next up, we're going to be talking about upcoming movies again that we are excited about. I'll go first. So I'm excited about The Eternals. It's an upcoming MCU movie. It's going to be very exciting. Yeah. Richard Madden, Gemma Chan, Kumail Nanjiani, Salma Hayek, Kit Harington.
Kit Harington and Richard Madden in the same film.
Film. Angelina Jolie. Really huge, big names that you wouldn't expect in an MCU movie. So it's set after the Avengers Endgame.
Okay. Is this the first one after that Endgame? Is it? No, Far From Home was.
Far From Home was, yeah. But I think it's the first new cast.
2020 film, yeah.
2020, yeah. Obviously, there's Black Widow, but that is a sort of a prequel.
Silly me. Black Widow's actually on before.
Black Widow's released before, but it's set after Captain America: Civil War. So it's being directed by Chloe Chow. Apologies if I have pronounced her name wrong. So she's never really done a big film like that. She did The Rider in 2017.
Oh right, okay. Western drama.
Contemporary Western drama, and Songs My Brothers Taught Me.
Another drama.
American drama. So she's done indie drama before. Songs My Brother Taught Me got 91% on Rotten Tomatoes. The Rider got 97%.
You can see why she's been given.
You can see why. She's
chance.
And The Rider, it got 92 on Metacritic and 96 out of 100 on BFCA, the Broadcast Film Critics Association.
Wow.
So
not bad at all. Yeah, that's pretty good. I'm excited for that.
Yeah,
especially the fact that it's total new cast of characters.
It recently finished filming.
Yeah. I don't know anything about the Eternals. I'm guessing it's the comics.
Comics. Yeah. I don't know anything about them either, to be honest.
I'm very interested.
Half the reason I'm excited is it's got Richard Madden and Angelina Jolie in it.
And I imagine in the future they'll be joining up with the rest of the
MCU. You never know. So that's aiming for a November 6th 2020 release. Obviously it has finished filming, so all they'll need to do is just sort all the CGI out, I imagine, and then any reshoots that they might need. So it's being directed by Chloe Chow and screenplay by Matthew K. Firpo.
Oh right, okay.
An American film director, screenwriter and photographer. Who's done?
He's not really written anything. No.
Again, he's done a few little films. So it seems that they are branching out and getting sort of indie films.
Stuff like that.
After the success of Thor Ragnarok, with Taika Waititi, Doctor Strange with Scott Derrickson, getting smaller directors.
It's talent.
It's talent, yeah.
Yeah, you want the talent there. Give them a chance at the top, and they'll probably pull it off.
Yeah,
most likely.
Right. So that's me.
For me,
Phil?
Yeah. The King's Man, which is definitely related to Kingsman. It's a prequel of this. It's coming out next week or the week after. I'm not sure, but it's got a very good cast, especially Lord Voldemort himself. Gemma Arterton, she's very good. Charles Dance from Game of Thrones. Ralph Fiennes, obviously, he's I don't know if I pronounced his name right. Did I?
I think it's Rafe, isn't it? Rafe Fiennes.
Is it?
I don't know. I always say Rafe.
Oh, okay. He looks like he's going to be really good in it, because I've seen the trailer and it seems like it's obviously aiming for the comedy spy comedy sort of side to it. It's getting released on Valentine's Day, although the marketing hasn't been very good.
Mind you, the marketing for the first Kingsman wasn't very good, and it was a it was one of those surprise hits.
Yeah, Matt Vaughan, who made the two Kingsman films, he's directing this again. So
that's good.
Yeah, it's gonna be the same feel. I think it's set during a different time period.
I think, if I remember rightly, it's First World War, isn't it? Because it's got who else has it got in it? Tom Hollander in it.
Yeah, Tom Hollander,
and he's playing 3 roles, isn't he?
Yeah,
I think because obviously, he's playing King George V, Tsar Nicholas II, and Kaiser Wilhelm, maybe. Because obviously, like, historically, they were all related to each other.
He's a funny guy.
He is a very funny actor as well. And then you've got Rhys Ifans, I believe, playing Rasputin.
I like that.
Rasputin, lover of the Russian Queen.
No.
And the next song we're going to play is... I'm joking, we wouldn't subject you to that.
Yeah, so it does look really good.
Yeah.
I don't know whether the lack of marketing suggests there's a problem. I don't know, but it does seem to have flown on. I've not heard anything about it.
Might be a bit of a prequels problem.
Yeah.
You know,
it's true.
I mean, historically, prequels. Look at the Star Wars prequels. Have never done well. I'm trying to think of other prequels maybe that haven't quite done well, but off the top of my head, I can't think of any. But
I'm trying to think.
That might be it. Mm-hmm. You know, or they might just be trying to go for the sleeper hit again.
Sometimes you get a lot of prequels of horror films that are disastrous.
Oh well, you know my attitude to horror films.
Yeah, we do know your attitude.
Detest them, but no. So it seems like it's got a good cast.
Yeah, it could pull it off.
Could pull it off.
It's very strange.
Let's hope.
Yeah.
So the next section is going to be movie news, like we did last week. So we're just going to jump in. So an Anaconda reboot is in the works at Sony Pictures with Tomb Raider and Snow White and the Huntsman writer Evan Doherty writing the script. Did you ever watch Anaconda?
I never did, actually.
It's sort of like, it's just like one of these monster movies.
Oh,
you know, an anaconda terrorizes.
There's a lot of monster films coming out recently.
Yeah, you know, it's one of those so bad it's good movies.
Yeah,
I really liked it.
For what it is.
Take it for what it is. Yeah. And John Voight's terrible attempt at a Portuguese accent.
That really.
Yeah, he attempts a Portuguese accent. It does not go well. John Voight. I mean, I think he's trying to do Portuguese. I'm not entirely sure.
What on earth?
It more sounds like Scottish person having a stroke. Andy Serkis will be receiving the Outstanding British Contribution to Cinema BAFTA on February the 2nd, joining the likes of Ridley Scott and the Harry Potter films.
Well deserved.
I'm surprised he's not won an Oscar.
Yeah, he's never won an Oscar.
He's never won an Oscar. He's never even been nominated. There was some sort of thing.
Did they have an Oscar for voice acting or anything like that?
No, they should do.
His voice acting is
superb. Obviously as well, he's a motion capture pioneer.
Yeah,
and I think they were going to nominate him for Lord of the Rings, but the Academy said because he wasn't physically present during the acting, he couldn't be nominated, which is just ridiculous. And obviously, Planet of the Apes films as well. He was Caesar in the Planet of the Apes films.
They were actually really good films.
I've not seen them yet, but I do want to see them.
They're good monster films.
Good monster film, yeah.
As if they are monsters, I don't know.
I don't know.
They turned into monsters.
They turned into monsters, you know. Maybe the monsters were the people all along. Who knows? Bradley Cooper is going to direct, produce and star in a Netflix film about the late great Jewish composer and conductor Leonard Bernstein.
All right, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
I like that.
What would Leonard Bernstein do? That is for any John Mulaney fans that are listening.
Yeah, I did not understand that at all. Apologies.
No, it's a bit in one of his stand-up routines.
Oh, I see.
Taika Waititi, known for directing Jojo Rabbit and Thor Ragnarok, is slated to direct his own Star Wars movie, joining Rian Johnson and Kevin Feige, who are also set to direct their own respective movies.
Wow, that's very... I mean, considering the success that Thor
Ragnarok was. And he directed an episode of The Mandalorian, the TV series as well.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he directed the series finale.
That's good.
Oh, he's amazing.
Was it good? Series finale. Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He is. I mean, he is a great director. It would just depend whether he gets as much creative freedom as Marvel seemed to give him on Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah. I mean, they have to see the talent that he has.
Yeah. No, they do. But
they can't make him into a
No, but there have seemed to be rumours with the Star Wars films of directors disagreeing with the producers disagreeing with the directors, and
I don't think producers should ever.
No, and then some actors just
Obviously
stuck in the middle.
Obviously, they have a role.
Yeah.
But I think if it's someone that's really taking the helm of the actual filming,
it needs to be the director.
because it adds something.
Yeah. There's going to be a Parasite series on HBO with Bong Joon-ho returning in some capacity to be involved.
That is.
He said it's going to feel like a high-quality expanded film and will flesh out background stories for certain characters.
That's going to be big.
Yeah.
Did you say HBO?
HBO.
That's going to be very well produced.
Yeah,
HBO only pick up the best.
The best, I mean, look at some of the best TV shows of recent time: Game of Thrones, The Wire.
I'm currently watching a great HBO show called Succession.
Succession. Westworld.
One Golden Globe.
Yeah. Just these huge big HBO is
Parasite. Under the Skin is getting I must add, Under the Skin.
Under the Skin,
a TV show, the film that I was talking about before.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll have Scarlett Johansson in it. If it did, that's surprising.
Well, you never know.
Such a big name. What I mean is it wasn't a big success, so I wouldn't see her returning to do a TV show for it. But
stranger things have happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, they got the likes of when the CW they did their Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover. They got Ezra Miller to cameo, and he's the Flash from the movies.
Yeah, Ezra Miller's great.
Not the TV series, he is great.
Yeah.
But they got some big names to cameo in that, so you never know.
You never know.
Anna Biden and Ryan Fleck will not return to direct Captain Marvel 2, but they are in talks for an MCU Disney Plus series. Marvel Studios is hoping to find a female director to replace them, and the film will be set in present day. And writer of the WandaVision series, Megan McDonnell, will be writing the movie, and it's aiming for a 2022 release. Very interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, could you think of a female director? I mean, there's Patty Jenkins, but she seems to be more wrapped up with DC. Catherine Bigelow, but is that her kind of thing?
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. I mean, one of them, he'd be because she's such a big director at the moment. Greta
Gerwig.
Imagine that. Imagine her doing a
superhero film.
Yeah,
I mean,
that'd be very interesting.
Very interesting to see.
Her previous films.
I mean, obviously, you've got actor-director Angelina Jolie.
Oh.
She could do it.
I mean, maybe even Brie Larson might want to.
You never know.
Direct her own film, but you know how.
She did direct Unicorn Store.
Did she?
Yeah, that Netflix film that she was in.
Was it good?
I've not seen it. I don't know whether she directed it or not, but I think she was involved in it in some capacity aside from acting.
Oh.
So you never know.
You never know.
I'm going to get his name terribly wrong. Denis Villeneuve is down to revisit the world of Blade Runner. It would need to be a project on its own, something disconnected from both the other movies. A detective noir story set in the future is what he said in an interview.
That sounds amazing.
So he should be good.
From the success of Blade Runner in
2049.
It was very good. I think it was very visually stunning as well.
He's doing the upcoming Dune movie.
Really?
Yeah, the reboot of the 1984 movie.
Wow.
And people are saying it's got very much original Star Wars 1977 feel with the way that it is. I mean, he is a great sci-fi director.
I think David Lynch did the original.
David Lynch did the original.
Really do very well.
No, it wasn't his kind of thing, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, you never know. Should be good.
Very
Ewan McGregor and Chris Messina confirmed that Black Mask and Victor Zsasz are gay in the upcoming Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn movie. I mean, yeah, it's
great.
Yeah, so you've got that.
Victor Zsasz.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember watching Gotham and he was in that.
He was in that, yeah. Bit of a weird character.
Yeah.
I say a bit. He's a serial killer if nobody knows who he is.
Serial killer.
And tally marks his victims onto his skin, doesn't he? With the how many people he's killed. You don't know whether that's going to happen in the Birds of Prey movie. It is an R rating in America, so it'll be a 15 over here, presumably.
Yeah. Try and brush the threshold.
You never know, like Deadpool did.
I mean, Joker's a 15. I was quite surprised. Was it a 15 Joker or was it an 18?
I don't know.
So if it was a 15, that was certainly pushing a threshold with some of the scenes.
Yeah. So that'll be good. Hopefully as well there's going to be some more sort of diversity and...
I hope so, yeah.
Yeah, we hope so, because...
A step in the right direction.
Step in the right direction. You know...
representation.
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for, representation. Oscar-winning director Robert Zemeckis, who did Back to the Future, has been officially confirmed to direct Disney's live-action adaptation of Pinocchio.
Oh, right.
He will also be co-writing the script with Chris Weitz, who wrote Rogue One and the live-action Cinderella movie from 2015.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
it's an interesting choice, Robert Zemeckis.
Yeah. Interesting combination. I like that, though.
I'm not entirely sure what he's done recently, Zemeckis.
I can't remember. I know the name.
I know the name. Obviously, very famous for the Back to the Future series.
Yeah, they were fantastic.
I wasn't really a big fan of them. If I'm not.
What?
I know.
How can you do this, Jake?
In 2 weeks, that's going to be my another unpopular. He's done films like Forrest Gump, Castaway,
The Polar Express, which is going to be an unpopular movie opinion for me in the future.
What, that you didn't like it?
Yeah.
That's not exactly that unpopular. I didn't like it. I didn't like it either. No. A Christmas Carol. Yeah. He seems to have done quite a few films recently.
In The Witches. I don't know how I feel about that because I liked
Back in Time from 2015.
It's probably like a short film or something.
Probably, but yeah. So those films, you know, Oscar-winning director. I mean, it should be good.
Yeah.
It's sort of been stuck in developmental hell for a few years.
You see, usually films like that.
Yeah, they announced it sort of way back in 2015 that they were going to make it, and
I forgot to mention Under the Skin was made over 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah, they just kept attaching themselves to it and then removing themselves.
Yeah.
It always happened.
You know. At one point, I think Robert Downey Jr. was linked to the role of Geppetto for it, but I don't know whether he will still be around.
Yeah.
Not as in, like, if he's going to die, but, you know, whether he'll still be interested in the role.
He's going to be picked up by someone soon, isn't he, to do, like, a massive film, because it's finished now with Marvel, isn't he?
Yeah. Sherlock Holmes 3, he's doing, hopefully.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. What's his... Dexter Fletcher is directing it, who did Rocket Man.
Rocket Man, yeah. He's a good director.
He is a good director.
Is it in his first one?
No, he's done other films before Dexter Fletcher.
I know he's an actor as well, isn't he?
I think so.
Yeah. He's been in a few things, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, he's directed film. Yeah,
directed Bohemian Rhapsody.
He took over production.
Took over, the very problematic
Brian Singer.
Brian Singer.
Yeah. So he's
Eddie the Eagle.
Eddie the Eagle. So he's directed
2 films with Taron Egerton in.
Yeah. Yeah, Eddie the Eagle, Rocket Man, and Sherlock Holmes 3, and he's produced. He was executive producer on Bohemian Rhapsody, so they gave him that, obviously.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Very interesting. Oh, he was in Sherlock Gnomes. So that's clearly why they're giving him Sherlock Holmes 3, because he has the experience.
Strange link.
That is a very strange link. Talking of, like you were with Under the Skin, of a movie stuck in developmental hell, the Uncharted movie with Tom Holland starring as Nathan Drake has been delayed again.
I do not like that.
No, it's now aiming for a 2021 release date, but considering I think when they first announced it, they wanted it to be out in 2018.
Video game movies. Always cursed.
Yes.
Hasn't been a good one yet. Detective Pikachu is the only one I can think of, but...
Tomb Raider from 2018. That was a decent movie.
Okay, yeah. Speaking of video game movies, guess what's coming out soon?
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yes, you knew.
Sonic the Hedgehog. I was like, what is it?
You know how excited I am.
Yes. Disney are remaking Bambi in live action, so that's another live action remake from Disney.
Oh, right. I wish they'd just go back to doing animated stuff.
Yeah. You know,
I'm not remake Bambi animated because that should be weird.
I know, and also, who's really ready for Bambi's mother to die in live action? It was traumatic enough watching Mufasa die in live action. I think everybody's going to need therapy with Bambi.
Yeah.
Captain Marvel, one of the writers for Captain Marvel, Geneva Robertson Dwyer, is going to be penning the script for Bambi. So maybe it's going to be a bit different. You don't know.
You never know.
Because The Lion King seemed to just be a bit of a shot-for-shot remake.
Mm-hmm.
But
you want something a bit different, though.
Cinderella and The Jungle Book were a bit different.
Yeah.
Wes Anderson's new movie, The French Dispatch, will release on July 24th. It's going to be rated R in America.
Wow.
Not sure on the rating over here yet. It's going to star Benicio del Toro, Tilda Swinton, Timothy Chalamet and Bill Murray, among others.
That's a very interesting
cast.
Rated R, Wes Anderson.
I know.
Has he made a rated R film?
Not that I can think of. I'm not entirely sure what it's going to be.
It's always made some very light-hearted.
So, yeah.
Nice films.
Yeah.
Like Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Yeah.
Life Aquatic, Isle of Dogs.
Yeah, very.
Yeah.
What's the word? Mirrored shots. That's not the phrase, is it?
I can't remember now.
When you put something down the middle and it can reflect on both sides. You can tell neither of us do maths, can't you? Symmetrical.
Yes.
Symmetrical shots.
There we go.
He is known for his symmetrical shots, with both sides.
Yeah, they're very good.
So I don't know how an R-rated movie would work with that, whether somebody gets punched in the face and blood spurts in both directions.
That sounds like something off Kill Bill.
That does sound like something off Kill. Maybe you should get Tarantino involved.
Yeah.
it's nearly out, isn't it?
Yeah.
The Batman has officially begun production, and the movie is aiming for a 25th of June 2021 release date. Finally.
I'm really looking forward.
3 years after it was meant to be released, with Ben Affleck directing and starring. Then obviously Ben Affleck stood down from directing duties, and then ultimately stood down from starring as Batman, Bruce Wayne.
I'm very excited to see Robert
Pattinson, I think he'll be good.
Yeah, he's always been. He kind of had like a teen heartthrob reputation.
Yeah.
After Twilight.
I mean, go and watch some of his interviews for Twilight. He absolutely detests Twilight.
Yeah,
it's hilarious how much he dislikes.
He's been in some very good films.
Twilight,
especially Good Time.
Lighthouse as well.
Yeah, he did well in that. Apparently, I've not seen it yet.
I've not seen it yet, but apparently it's very good.
He was in The King as well. He had a very weird French accent.
Oh yeah, I think he said that he wanted to play like the romantic lead, so he wanted like a ridiculous accent.
It was really funny.
So but it's also going to have films like Zoe Kravitz is going to be in The Batman. There's Catwoman.
Who is it? Colin
Farrell.
Colin Farrell's playing the Penguin.
The Penguin.
And who's playing the Riddler again? Paul Dano.
Yeah. That'll be interesting.
I'm very excited.
And who else is going to be? Jeffrey Wright's going to be Jim Gordon.
Oh, right.
We're not sure. Yeah, Jeffrey Wright, yeah.
No.
I'm
Zoe
sorry.
Kravitz, maybe. Barbara Gordon.
No, I think Zoe Kravitz is definitely Selena Kyle.
Why did I just make that connection? Why?
I've no clue.
I've not looked into it.
Zoe Kravitz is definitely Selena Kyle. She voiced Selena Kyle in the Lego Batman movie.
Does she?
She does, yes. That's quite weird. And she was meant to play her in the Dark Knight Rises 2012.
All right, okay.
But Christopher Nolan said she was too urban for the role.
Right there.
So, yeah.
Okay.
But now she seems to have got, because it seems to be there's going to be a trilogy at least of Batman movies under Matt Reeves. So hopefully she's going to be in all of them.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So there are 2 new Transformers films in development after the sort of critical success of Bumblebee from 2018.
Didn't have John Cena in it.
But you couldn't see him on screen, could you?
Yeah, it was really hard to see him.
Yeah, you couldn't really see him,
I love that joke.
Yeah, I make it all the time.
Yeah, it's just great.
So yes, there are new ones. So there's scripts underway from Joby Harold, who did King Arthur: Legend of the Sword.
I watched that.
Well-received movie, and James Vanderbilt, who did The Amazing Spider-Man.
Zodiac was great.
And Zodiac.
That was an excellent film.
Yeah. So the details are sort of under wraps as to what the plots are going to be at this point, but hopefully they'll be good. I've still not seen Bumblebee. I've not seen any movies, any Transformers movies after the second one.
All right, okay, I see.
Nicolas Cage has done a H.P. Lovecraft adaptation.
It looks so good. It looks really weird.
It does. Color Out of Space, sci-fi horror novella by H.P. Lovecraft.
He's done some really weird films recently, and I like it. He did Mandy, and that was odd. It was great. It was awesome.
Yeah. There's going to be a National Treasure 3, just bringing it back to sort of normality for Nicolas Cage.
No.
I love the National Treasure movies. The poster seems to be very Stranger Thingsy vibes, doesn't it?
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of posters doing that. Obviously the Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Are very good. Like you see a lot of it on T-shirts.
You
and
do.
all that stuff. I think they try to follow the trend of that. A bit like how people. A lot of people try to copy the Star Wars logo and stuff like that.
Yeah.
A lot of it's very interesting.
Lethal Weapon 5.
When are they going to stop making them?
When they're definitely too old.
Yeah, it's never going to end. They made a TV show.
I was going to quote, but I don't know whether I'm allowed to swear live on air, so I'm not going to. It will be a direct quote from the film, in case anybody is listening and is going to tell me off.
Yeah, you can't.
I can't. But no, Mel Gibson, Danny Glover, and director Richard Donner are still aboard.
All right.
To star and direct. We're trying to make the last Lethal Weapon movie.
Sure.
They said. Dan Lin, the producer.
We believe you, don't worry.
We believe, yeah. It's not like you said that after Lethal Weapon 4, is it?
New version of The Thing.
New version of The Thing is in the works.
Yeah. That was
so
an excellent horror film. And it was it was actually a B movie, which is really weird.
Yeah.
And it broke, it did terrible at the box office.
Yeah.
But then it turned into one of the most
sort of a cult classic.
Yeah.
It's going to be Blumhouse as well.
Oh,
so they seem to be sort of studio for sort
a lot of good horror films.
These smaller horror films.
Yeah.
They didn't they?
A bit like the A24 of like
horror. Yeah. I was going to say, did they do Us? Blumhouse and
I think so. I think they did Insidious.
Yeah.
Conjuring.
You know, see, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier Disney Plus series is going to be released a bit earlier in the summer. So it was originally meant to be sort of autumn time.
Oh.
So that will be interesting.
Disney Plus is bringing out some.
It is bringing out some.
The fact that it's going to have the entire, I think it already has in the US, has the entire Simpsons catalogue is very interesting.
Not something I've ever watched, The Simpsons.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
Never watched The Simpsons. No.
Nice.
The Obi-Wan, speaking of Disney Plus, the Obi-Wan TV series seems to be on hold for script rewrites. They were saying it seemed to be a bit similar to The Mandalorian.
Oh.
So...
Okay.
You know, they wanted to retool it a little bit. And then they're doing The Karate Kid, the musical. This is going to be the last one.
No. Oh, no, it's a
Broadway. Oh, right, okay, so at least it's not a movie.
Yeah.
I'm not
work, obviously.
I'm not entirely sure how Wax On, Wax Off would work.
Yeah.
Lyrically. But, you know, you never know, it might work. So, that is the movie news. We might make some jingles for this, who knows?
Yeah, we could do that.
Could do some jingles. If anybody's listening that is more musically minded than myself, and I don't know how musically minded you are, Phil.
Some people, don't we?
We do know some people, yeah. We know that makes us sound like some sort of spy. You know, we know people who know people. So that is nearly the end of our show. Thank you very much if you are listening live for tuning in and listening to us.
On podcast form.
Or podcast form, you know, when we get this edited and put out. Thank you for listening to us all the way through. So we are, just a reminder, next week, Wednesday, the 5th of February, 2:30 for a 20 to 3-ish start. We're going to be showing Avengers Endgame, Osler Floor 3, Room 13.
Free snacks.
Free snacks, yeah. Feel free to bring your own as well if you want. Just don't bring a full roast chicken, because that would just be weird. Tucking into a roast chicken at the back of a movie showing.
Oh, no.
And then obviously, but don't forget the 12th of February, we're not showing a film.
Yeah.
We are missing that week because the SU and the LGBT Society are showing Carol.
Absolutely.
So we won't be showing that week. And then don't forget about the poll on our Facebook and Twitter pages for what movie should we show next. Goodfellas searching Isle of Dogs or 24-Hour Party People. If you have any suggestions for movies you want us to show, we did discuss some of these suggestions. They are going to be that you've already given us.
You can message in us on any social media.
Facebook and Twitter is both at HudMovies. The Instagram is at HudMovies HSU because somebody had already grabbed at HudMovies. That's weird.
Yeah.
So for now,
It's goodbye from me.
and it's goodbye from me. Goodbye.